I'm a filmmaker, and I'm a friend of Waad's, and so it's a great honor to be here. I've made films, startup.com, Control Room about the Iraq War, The Square, which was about the Egyptian Revolution, The Great Hack, which is where I met Waad, and most recently a series about called The Vow. But we got to be friends and colleagues and talking about what it's like to make films in difficult situations and war zones. And I was so excited when I finally saw For Sama and now your latest film, because I think you bring such a beautiful spirit to the kinds of films, these kinds of heavy films that heavy subjects that you've taken on. You bring your spirit to it, and you have you bring a humor and a humanity and a lightness to what is a very difficult subject.
And it's my honor to be here, and thank you so much for like everything you've done as a support, but also, you know, like I just feel more like we get to know each other it was very difficult time when For Sama was out, but then, you know, like that journey was very difficult and stressful all the time, and it's always been much easier, you know, when you became friends with the people in that journey, and it was just like amazing experience. Yeah, and thank you for being here today.
So it's a complete honor, and I wanted to ask you, because I actually I don't know the whole story of how you decided to go and make this film and choose this subject. I think there isn't another better person in the world that could be tackling a subject like this now about refugees from around the world. And so how did you decide to go for it?
I mean, it was very big decision for me to take, because, you know, like after For Sama, like I wasn't considering myself as a professional filmmaker, and I wasn't sure what I want to do next. And for me, like, because that story was like my life was like very different experience, you know, like in terms of making films. So I thought like everything I would do after it's a big decision, just to take the decision that I want to do another film. So when this idea came, I was like, I'm really interested in the refugee like topic, in exploring, I think, also my situation with that, because I became refugee in the same year when For Sama was out. Mm-hmm. So for the next like 3-4 years after this until now, I'm still like so much living through the experience of like what next. So when I decided to do this film, I was like, I want to explore other people's stories. I want to understand what does it mean and how we accept, you know, like this all new life and circumstances. And I wanted to break so much stereotypes I've been witnessing and facing all the time, you know, of like we're either victims or we are like heroes, or sometimes like villains. So I really just wanted to have this conversation about who we are really, and how we can sit down with someone and being equal and getting to know each other without any expectation and without any like stereotypes, which we face literally every single day, from being in the bus station to being like on a big platform where we can represent ourselves and represent our countries and other like issues we had. So I decided to make this film, and I was like, I'm not sure where is this going, but I had an amazing people and amazing team with me, where I think I've learned so much, and I was able to put my vision forward in so many like in more confidence, I think. And this is how kind of like We Dare to Dream became We Dare to Dream, because it's about refugee stories, and it's about my story behind the scenes, you know, how I became, for me now, like a filmmaker.
And I think that some of the best films and the best moments in films come when you have a real personal connection to them, and when you're asking questions that you're curious about for yourself. When you were making the film, were there any big surprises for you? As you were making?
I mean, there was a lot of things, and every single day there was like a big challenge in terms of even emotionally, you know, the way how I was like dealing with the subject and with the like entire shooting and editing as well. But I think the most surprising thing was something I thought I knew before, which is how much we have in common as human being. You know, like we came together as refugees from different countries around the world. We speak different languages, and sometimes we don't even like understand the situation for each other. But you know, when we came together and when we started like shooting and talking about some stuff, like so many things were revealed across the way. And as much as I had this thought, I know that we all as a human being have so much to share when we like remove, you know, all this like baggages we carry. But honestly, I was so moved and like shocked and surprised and embarrassed sometimes, you know, how much we really like when it comes to the details, we all experience things as mothers, as like young people, as people who lost a lot, as people who dream of something. And as much as this is really exciting, it was really scary because sometimes you really like I have trauma in so many things in my life, and I had to came across this trauma in so many places within the film, where I wasn't sure if I'm ready for that or not. And the film became a way of therapy at the end of this journey when I was able to really reflect on a lot of stuff I couldn't reflect when I became a refugee myself. So it was like, I felt it was a lot about exploring myself and my understanding of life and of even career, you know, what I wanted to do and why I'm doing this. And that was like, yeah, maybe the most surprising like thing I've came across this film, but also these 2 years, I think.
That's a fascinating answer, and maybe relates to this, but what do you feel were the biggest personal challenges that you had to making this film?
I mean, I will go back again to the emotional part because I wasn't accepting that I am no longer in Syria. And, you know, carrying all this trauma with everything I've been through, I was like just so much. The first decision I took after for summer, I was like, I'm only gonna do Syrian films. And then now more like I'm just gonna do like things I really care about and it matters to me. But what I've really learned that like wherever and however you're gonna like think of things, like you always can find your personal connection. And when it's something like this film, like some like experience I've lived through, like things I'm still discovering now, and that's the most like, you know, curious thing I was getting to know. Like I'm still not knowing a lot even about myself, and I definitely not know a lot about my trauma. And I'm very aware, like I don't know a lot about making films, but to take this decision of deciding that I want to wake up every day, I want to do something I really believe in, I want to tell other stories and my story in different ways. It was just something like, I think every single day I was like able to really own my agency and who I am and the fact that where I am today and what I can do for the future. And just like being able to connect all these dots, which I'm like going through every single day, and being able to produce something where I'm honestly like I've never was able to express myself in this way, but like I'm so proud that I managed to film and do something like this, where I'm still honestly like the first day I walked in to this project, I had no idea what I'm doing and how I would do this. Yeah, it was like an amazing learning process.
Let's get to the actual filmmaking. I always think that the beginning of a film can be the hardest to do. I think I make like 100 beginnings to each film before before I choose which one works. And sometimes it doesn't actually work until you get to the very end of the film. How did this, you have a beautiful beginning to the film. And how did you decide to start the film?
Yeah, I mean, it's a process. And as you just mentioned, you know, like it takes time and it takes a lot of like thinking and rethinking and like criticizing so many like things you think of, and you take it as a kind of like decision. This is what I'm gonna do. And then like you destroy all the rules you put across these years. But like for me, there was so many things I just felt now like the early decisions I've took in this film as like, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. So many of them, like it went out exactly how I expect and I wanted them to be at the end of the film. I mean, maybe the whole, you know, shape is different, but the main values or the main thing, I was like, I'm going to hold into this. I really want to do this. And it went out really amazingly well. There was a lot of also, like one of the main decisions, I was like, this is film about others. I'm not going to get involved, not even emotionally. And I was like so curious about this, like trying and exploring this option. And obviously, like it failed in the first day of, you know, getting to know these people.
Yes, you hear your voice behind the camera. You feel like you know these people, you're friends with these people. It feels like, and that's part of the charm of the film.
Yeah, but also this is, I think it took me to the decision that today I am exploring who I am as a filmmaker, because I didn't learn this like in university, or I didn't have enough time to, you know, reflect on how to do, like to make films or like train or like try things. This is literally my second film. I did move for some months. This is the second time. So it was like a lot of choices. I was trying to explore like who I am as a filmmaker. And now I came to believe that part of this is like me, my perspective on this. And especially in this film, because I am a refugee and I had experience like within this journey in different way from the other athletes in the film, I just felt like it's really, it was different. It taught me so much, but also in the filmmaking process, I wanted not to step back and get out of thinking as a refugee. No, I want to be as a refugee director, how I can do this differently. And also, I think it taught me a lot as well about within this film. And after making We Dare to Dream, I really want to call out for other filmmakers, for refugee filmmakers, but also for other filmmakers who are able, you know, to like support people and being able to like come together to do something really differently. And I feel like it's not a call for give me an opportunity or like this is something we deserve. This is what we need, just a space. And we can own our space and we have to. But on the other side, like anyone who can look at this story or any other story around the world and see from different perspective, I think the world, especially in this madness today, we need a lot of more voices, and we need to amplify other women and other filmmakers and people who've been into something. They really need to let it out in maybe artistic way, you know, like in a beautiful way, maybe sometimes in very hard way. But it's our responsibility today, for me, like from my place now, like to you from your place, which I know you are doing anyway, but for anyone who's listening to us, because I think like no one can do this alone, and the industry is really, really in need for more voices and more diversity.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how much I've thought about you in the last 40 days of this war and this bombing, and watching some of the journalists who are on the ground and reporting or filming everything that they're going through. And it becomes very personal, of course, because as they're trying to film, they're losing electricity and water and their family members.
And lives.
And their lives, yeah. And I thought about you so much and thought, oh, I want them to be able to speak and be inspired by Waad right now. And I was telling you earlier that I had somebody that I was speaking with who was in Gaza and was killed yesterday, who was a real advisor to all of these, to these different journalists. And I think this need to bring out voices that are not heard from, to humanize what this experience is like, that they're going through, and how to preserve this footage. Right now, I don't know how this footage gets preserved, or it's a different kind of war, whether it'll be allowed out again. And I don't know if you have any thoughts for any of the who are on the ground now.
It's really hard to give any advice in this circumstances and this situation. And like, it's just so triggering, everything we're looking at and we're watching, and we're trying to, like, we can't not look, and we can't just keep looking because it's really difficult and hard. But I think, you know, like, I remember like 6 years ago, maybe more, a little bit, 7 years ago, when I was in Aleppo and the bombing was like Russia were about to like be in the area where we were exactly. And I was very worried about my footage, and we didn't know what to do. And I thought of literally like burying my material in the ground, hoping that one day, you know, like I can send the location for someone outside, and I'm not sure if even I will survive or not. And that was like a nightmare to me. And all my material with Forsama, you know, like had like no backup, because I didn't know I had to back up stuff. And sometimes even if you want like the hard drives, all of these things, it's really hard to find. However, like this has been 7 years ago, but just to look today and see people living exact circumstances and even harder in some places, and not think, you're just like finding meaning, you know, why and how we all watching, and this is still happening. And it's a lot of like, you know, trauma after trauma. And when I was making We Dare to Dream, like there was a lot of people like from Cameroon who has different experience, but it's also very heartbreaking and very like disturbing, you know, like it's just crazy. Iran, the same thing, and South Sudan, you know, and people who've been fleeing for years. And you look today at the world, and it's not going better. There's people still being killed literally every single second as we speak. I don't know, there's no like right and wrong. I don't know what to tell these people, because I feel I can't take responsibility for anything, because the situation is much harder than I can even imagine, even when I lived something similar. But I think the only thing I really feel like I can just say is like, just keep filming, because that's the only thing will stay. And unfortunately, you know, with this circumstances, I know how hard is it, but that's the only thing we can do. I survived Aleppo, but I didn't survive losing home, and I'm still struggling until today with that. And I did We Dare to Dream seriously, only for me to keep fighting in different ways. But just like, I want to call out for all these amazing people who are very young, who are trying to do impossible mission, you know, in this difficult circumstances, just to keep trying to film, just keep trying to tell the story in different ways. And for all other refugees, directors, filmmakers, people around the world as well, like to try to do the same, you know, like, because that, like, everyone can survive in different way, and we have to survive. There's no way out of this, unfortunately. And the only way for us to come together, to be able to support each other. And like, I would love to help in any possible way, especially with this like circumstances now. And I wanted people to really open their eyes and hearts to what is going on in Gaza today, around the world in so many places, but also to look for the future, because this is not good for any of us. We were talking about our kids earlier, and is this really the world we want people to live in? The message should not be like hate, and should not be about killing each other. And it's not about, like, we all like tired, you know, we all lost so much, and we just want to have a bit of dignity and freedom and some just respectful and peaceful life for us and for our kids. And like, I really hope people, like, for me now, you know, like, just we dare to dream, and the message I am carrying, and survival guilt I'm still carrying, not just in Syria, you know, but like, it's a lot of things going on, and I'm just trying to focus on very, very little thing. This film, this message, I just want it to be maybe a little light for other people to look at and to think of other ways of keep fighting in different ways.
But when I saw it, and I saw the scene, for example, of you with your kids watching, I couldn't help but think about the fact that there was a piece of you that was making this for your kids. Yeah. And for hope. Can you speak to that? Were you making this in a way for your kids?
Like, honestly, at some point, and especially when I decided to make this film, like, I wasn't feeling well, and I was so shocked in, again, like, I think it's simply the way of, I'm not accepting where I am today, and I want to be back in Syria, and this is not possible, and finding like a home, and what does it mean, and all of this like struggling moments, you know, in your daily life. And part of deciding to make We Dare to Dream was like, I have to keep going. I have to keep going for them. And I have to be good for, like, I have to be well and to take care of myself so I can be with them. And part of this, you know, like, pushed me a lot to do the film and to be able, like, to just get out of where my trauma is now. I mean, I took my trauma with me, and I open it up and reveal it in different places in this film. But at least I was able to, like, accept and face and try to fight, you know, all of this like struggling things. So yeah, it became for my kids, and it became part of the trauma that I couldn't deal with before. Like, it was laid out. It was more reflect on, you know, like, what we've been through. And I found myself at the end of the film with my kids watching one of these amazing people journey and fight, and without planning, you know, like, it came very naturally at the end when we went to do this. I was like, oh my God, like, yes, like, my kids as two refugee kids who are born in Syria. One of them was born in Turkey. She was never been able to see Syria. We're both now and all like in exile in like the UK. It's a new home. We have to accept this home. We have to build this new home. And like, yeah, one way or another, it reflects a lot on the personal journey of me, but also the film journey. And it became like, this is simply the inspiration for the next generation, for other people who can't be identified, or they don't really understand what does it mean to be a refugee, but they carry this in their blood. And I just want my kids to be proud of who we are and why we are like this. And I think it's a lot about, again, like, breaking stereotypes, because so many people think of like, I don't want to be a refugee. I don't want to be told that I'm a refugee. And I'm trying to re-identify this even to myself, that I became a refugee because I decided to take very hard decision at some point. So I am today a proud refugee because I did something. I sorry. I did something I'm proud of, even when it's really painful. And this is, I think, the message for them. Sorry.
Oh, do you need water, or
yeah.
Have the participants seen the film?
Yes.
They saw it at Tribeca, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. So we premiered the film at Tribeca, and they were all there with us. But before this, we did a screening where we had them all, and it was just, I was so scared. I was so terrified. And it was amazing reaction. Yes.
And so what message do you think you want people to get? What would you like to see for the life of this film? And what message do you think you want the film to get out there, if there is a message?
Yeah, I think I carry a lot of hope, because I think this film is different in so many ways. And I want refugees to watch this film. I want people who really feel like they don't have a way out, or they don't feel any like light in their life around them. And it's not about this, cliche of words when people like start to say, you can do it. And if you work hard, you can arrive and you can reach what you want. Like, no, it's not like this at all. It's totally okay to be tired. And it's totally okay if we feel like we can't do things anymore, because that's the reality of our life. And we've been through a lot to where we are today, and we still have a lot to do. And we still have so many issues to keep fighting every single day. And this is like, as a human being, like without having any additional, like struggle in your life, like having to leave everything behind, or leave the family and all of this. So when you have that as well, it's more things like, it's really hard to explain this in words, because I think that's what I was trying to do the entire film. So I don't really like put this out like this, but it's really the reality of our life and the reality of the fight, and to be realistic and to take care of yourself and to be able to fight when you can, but also take rest when you can. And I really wanted refugees to look at this and see representation in this film. I want other people to look at this and think that, no, it's not what we think, or it's not what we thought refugees mean. And I know that not this film and not other 100 films can really represent what does it really mean to be a refugee. But I hope this is a glimpse of true story and true feeling and true experience from people who been through a lot and they still fighting.
It's a beautiful, beautiful film. And I think that you were very successful in getting that across, because it's all about stories of humans in the end, and really making a story where you relate to everybody. And you do through their stories, through who they are, through the relationship that you have with them, that you really feel. So I think that's why they grew to trust you. So is there anything else that you want to talk about the film, or about the release, or about what you're doing next? Or
no, it's amazing, because we're getting the film out these like weeks, and we've already seen like amazing response from people. And from communities as well, especially like in Jordan, in Kakuma, in Kenya. And we hope and plan to do more and more, like with so many communities around the world. And I just want people really to go there, find it, watch it. And I hope we can do more and more as a filmmakers. And I hope everyone will be safe.
Well, there's Thanksgiving is this weekend, and I'll be having a couple of people from Gaza who have just come actually over. So maybe with your permission, I'll show them the film.
Yeah, of course. I would love to, for sure. Oh, thank you.
Waad, it's so wonderful to see you. So, and this is an honor to do this with you. So I hope I see you soon in person.
Thank you.